You and I live in a world that offers more opportunity, more abundance, and more knowledge than any generation that has ever walked the earth. Yet despite these limitless possibilities, most people drift through life as if asleep at the wheel, guided not by clear purpose but by habit, fear, and the comfortable routine of conformity. Today I want to speak to you about mastering the winner's mindset, a way of thinking that has always separated the successful few from the wandering many. The winner's mindset is not about luck, nor about talent alone. It is about understanding and obeying certain unchanging laws, laws as real and as constant as gravity. If you learn these laws, if you live them with conviction and persistence, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. You see, the problem is not that people are incapable of greatness, it is that they rarely stop to decide what greatness means to them, and they almost never fix their minds on it with single-minded purpose. It is not that they lack the power to change their circumstances, but that they doubt they possess such power at all. Before we go any further, I want to ask you to make a commitment today, not to me, but to yourself. If you're listening and you find value in these words, take a moment right now to subscribe or follow this channel, not out of obligation, but because you're making a promise to yourself to stay engaged with ideas that can elevate your thinking, your goals, and your life. It is a small but meaningful act of commitment to your own growth. Now let's get one thing very clear. Success, by any reasonable definition, is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It is not a one-time event, not the sudden arrival at a destination, but a journey you undertake with purpose. A man or woman who knows where they are going, who holds firmly in mind a clear, definite purpose and takes steps toward it every day, is successful right now. The tragedy is that most people never choose that purpose. They let their environment choose for them. They absorb their goals from the vague expectations of the crowd, never stopping to ask if those goals are worthy, if they match the secret desires of their own heart. They drift, and drift always leads to the rocks. Ask yourself right now, what is the one thing you would dare to do if you knew you could not fail? That question is not meant to tease you with fantasy. It is meant to awaken you to a truth. Your dreams reveal your deepest talents, your natural gifts. If you can imagine it clearly, if it has weight and presence in your mind, it is likely something you were designed to pursue. The first step toward mastering the winner's mindset is to grant yourself permission to want deeply, boldly, without apology. Too many people have been shamed out of ambition. They have been taught that wanting more is greed or arrogance. Nonsense. It is your duty to make the most of your abilities, for in doing so you serve others more fully, more effectively, and more honestly. The winner's mindset requires understanding a great and unbreakable law. We become what we think about. Write this in the comments if you're ready to live it. I am the architect of my destiny. My thoughts build my future. Let that be your vow today. Because this is not poetry, it is physics. It is a law of nature every bit as real as Newton's law of motion. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. In thought, this means that what you impress upon your mind repeatedly will express itself in your world. Your dominant thoughts shape your character, and your character shapes your circumstances. Most people do not fail because they are incapable. They fail because they think thoughts of failure, worry, and limitation so persistently that these become their reality. If you want to master the winner's mindset, you must first master your own thoughts. You must become the gatekeeper of your mind. You cannot allow any destructive, fearful, or limiting idea to take root without challenge. You must ask yourself daily, is this thought leading me toward my goal or away from it? Is this idea expanding my vision or shrinking it? If you do not make this a conscious habit, then you will think by default, which is to say you will think like the crowd. And the crowd, history shows us, is wrong far more often than it is right. The crowd settles, the crowd compromises, the crowd plays it safe, and then regrets it. To develop this habit of mental discipline, I want you to choose a goal today, not tomorrow. Today. Something clear and single. Don't choose 10 things. Choose one. Write it down on a card and carry it with you. Look at it first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Whenever doubt creeps in, read it again. Remind yourself of what you have chosen to make real. This small act will separate you from 95% of the people around you. It will give you a sense of direction most never know. It will also begin to shift your self-image. You will stop seeing yourself as a passive observer of life and begin to see yourself as its architect. Remember this, your mind is like a fertile field. It will return in abundance whatever you plant. Plant worry, and you will reap anxiety. Plant fear, and you will harvest paralysis. Plant purpose, faith, and determination, and you will grow success. The choice is always yours. The land does not care what you plant. It will return poison or corn with equal generosity. Your mind is the same. Master the winner's mindset by planting only that which you want to see flourish in your life. That is your responsibility. No one else can do it for you. This is the beginning of our journey together. In the parts to come, I will share with you the specific disciplines, the daily practices, and the mental frameworks that the most successful men and women have always used. But none of it will matter if you do not first accept this fundamental truth. You are responsible for your thoughts. You are the captain of your ship, the farmer of your field, the builder of your destiny. Decide today to live deliberately. Decide today to think only thoughts worthy of the life you want to live. Comment now to affirm your commitment. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubts. Most people misunderstand the nature of success. They think it is something granted to the lucky, bestowed on the gifted, or inherited from privilege. But the truth is far simpler and more demanding. Success is earned by those who deliberately plan for it, work for it, and think for it every single day. It is a result, not a gift. A consequence, not a coincidence. The winner's mindset begins with understanding that you must pay the price for anything of value in life. There are no shortcuts, no bargains, no loopholes in this law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you sow half-hearted effort, you will reap half-hearted results. If you plant clear goals and water them with daily discipline, you will harvest a life of purpose and achievement. The first price you must pay is clarity. Most people wander through life without ever defining what it is they truly want. They say they want success, but they cannot tell you what success means to them. They say they want more money, but they do not name the amount or the purpose it will serve. They want a better life, but they never design it on paper, much less in their minds. Clarity is the starting point of all achievement. You must know exactly what you want. It cannot be vague. It cannot be borrowed from someone else's dream. It must be your own, defined in detail, written down, and revisited daily. Without this act of clarity, your mind cannot focus. And without focus, there can be no progress. Let me ask you now, have you written down your goal? Have you described it in detail? Can you see it in your mind's eye as if it already exists? If not, pause and do it now. This is not a trivial task. It is the cornerstone of your success. Until you can see your goal clearly, you will not know what actions to take. You will wander, you will drift, and you will conform to the vague, aimless ambitions of the crowd. The winner's mindset refuses to drift. It insists on charting a course and holding it, no matter how rough the seas. This is the difference between the 5% who achieve their goals and the 95% who surrender to circumstance. The second price you must pay is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between desire and accomplishment. Everyone wants something that is easy, but few are willing to do what it takes every single day to earn it. Discipline is showing up to your mission when it is hard, when it is dull, when it is frightening. It is refusing to let excuses govern your behavior. It is saying, I will do what I said I would do, long after the mood in which I made the promise has faded. This is the bedrock of trust in yourself. Without discipline, goals remain wishes. With discipline, wishes become plans, and plans become results. Consider for a moment the farmer. He does not plant his seed and then abandon the field. He works it daily. He removes weeds, he waters, he protects it from pests. He trusts the process even when he cannot see growth. So must you tend your goal with daily work. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the expression of love for the future you desire. It is the proof that you believe in your goal enough to serve it. Comment now if you believe in this law of effort. I honor discipline. I work for the future I desire. The third price you must pay is responsibility. The winner's mindset accepts complete responsibility for outcomes. It does not blame luck, the economy, other people, or circumstances beyond control. It asks one question relentlessly: what can I do about it? This is not to deny that life is hard, unfair, or sometimes cruel, but it is to insist that you retain power over your reaction, over your planning, over your effort. Responsibility is the ultimate act of power. It is the refusal to surrender your destiny to chance or blame. When you accept responsibility, you claim the authority to change. Responsibility is what separates the child from the adult, the amateur from the professional, the drifter from the captain of the ship. Most people avoid it because it is heavy. It means you can no longer make excuses. It means you can no longer wait for rescue. But it is the price of freedom. When you say, "I am responsible," you unlock the power to steer your own course. Remember this: you cannot control everything, but you can always control something. And the more you focus on what you can control, the more your sphere of influence will grow. This is a law of life as sure as gravity. Finally, the fourth price you must pay is persistence. The road to any meaningful goal will be marked by obstacles, setbacks, and failures. The winner's mindset does not see these as reasons to quit, but as essential steps in the learning process. Persistence is the resolve to continue despite frustration. It is the quiet confidence that no defeat is permanent unless you accept it as such. Think of the countless inventors, artists, and entrepreneurs who were told no again and again, who failed repeatedly, yet refused to give up. They understood that failure is feedback, not a verdict. They used it to refine their approach, to grow stronger, to get closer to their vision. Persistence is faith in action. It is the belief that what you want is possible, so you keep going even when the evidence is not yet visible. It is saying, "I will not be stopped by delay, disappointment, or difficulty." If you want to master the winner's mindset, you must cultivate persistence as a daily habit. When you feel like quitting, remember why you started. When you are tempted to compromise, remember what you stand to gain. Comment to affirm this commitment now: I persist, I endure, I win. In the next part of our journey together, we will discuss the daily practices that strengthen this mindset, the small but powerful rituals that keep you on course even when the world tries to distract you. But today I challenge you to begin paying the price. Define your goal, commit to daily discipline, accept responsibility, practice persistence, for these are not merely suggestions, they are the laws of achievement. Break them and success eludes you. Obey them and success is inevitable. Now that you have begun to understand the price of success, let us turn our focus to the habits that sustain the winner's mindset. Because it is not enough to decide once, it is not enough to be clear only at the start. The mind, like any field, must be cultivated every day. And it is in our daily habits that we shape our destiny. Too many people imagine that success is built on a single dramatic choice or a lucky break. But the truth is that success is made in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when you choose to do what is necessary rather than what is easy. Habits are the foundation of character, and character is the foundation of destiny. If you want to change your life, you must first change your habits. Consider for a moment how the average person lives. They wake without purpose. Their thoughts are immediately hijacked by the news, by their phone, by other people's agendas. They rush through the morning with anxiety. They go to work not to build something meaningful, but to survive. They come home exhausted, seeking only distraction or numbing entertainment. And they repeat this cycle day after day, year after year, wondering why nothing changes. This is not a condemnation, but an observation. It is what happens when you fail to choose your habits deliberately. The winner's mindset breaks this cycle by establishing routines that serve the goal rather than sabotage it. One of the most powerful habits you can adopt is morning reflection. Before the world demands anything of you, take time to sit quietly with your thoughts. Review your goal. Visualize its achievement. Ask yourself, what one thing can I do today that moves me closer to it? This practice does not require an hour. It requires intention. 5 or 10 minutes spent in focused, undistracted reflection can set the tone for the entire day. It reminds you of who you are and why you are here. It aligns your actions with your purpose. Without this habit, you will react to life. With it, you will direct life. Another essential habit is continual learning. The winner's mindset is never complacent. It understands that the world changes, that new knowledge is always being created, that competitors do not rest. To stay sharp, you must feed your mind. Read books that challenge you, that expand your understanding. Listen to lectures and discussions that introduce new perspectives. Study the masters of your field. The moment you believe you know enough, you begin to fall behind. The mind is like a muscle. It only grows when it is exercised. And there is no better exercise than the pursuit of knowledge. Comment if you believe in this principle. I learn daily. I grow without limits. Equally important is the habit of planning. Most people drift because they never stop to chart their course. At the end of each day, take a few moments to review what you did. Did your actions serve your goal? What worked well? What needs improvement? Then plan the next day in advance. Choose your top priorities. Decide how you will handle potential obstacles. When you wake, you will not have to think about what matters most. You will know. This habit transforms anxiety into clarity, confusion into purpose. It is a small investment of time that pays dividends in effectiveness and peace of mind. Let us not forget the habit of gratitude. You might think this has little to do with success, but nothing could be further from the truth. Gratitude is the antidote to fear and resentment. It grounds you in abundance rather than scarcity. It reminds you that you are already blessed and capable. When you are grateful, you see opportunities instead of obstacles. You attract cooperation instead of conflict. Make it a daily ritual to list what you are thankful for, even if only in your mind. This simple act will shift your entire perspective. It will give you the resilience to persist when times are hard and the humility to remain grounded when success arrives. Another critical habit is physical care. Your body is the vehicle through which your purpose is achieved. Neglect it, and you sabotage yourself. You do not need to become an athlete, but you do need to respect your body. Get adequate rest. Move daily. Eat in a way that sustains energy and health. Avoid habits that dull the mind or weaken the will. A strong body supports a strong mind, and a strong mind is essential to the winner's mindset. Too many people sacrifice their health for short-term gains, only to pay the price in lost years, lost opportunities, and diminished spirit. Finally, there is the habit of service. The winner's mindset understands that true success cannot exist in isolation. It is built on the value you provide to others. Ask yourself daily, who do I serve? How can I serve them better? Success is always in direct proportion to service. Money is merely a measurement of the value exchanged. Do not chase money, chase usefulness, chase excellence, chase impact. When you do, money will follow. Comment now if you commit to this law: I serve with excellence, I create value. These habits are not glamorous. They will not make headlines, but they are the quiet, consistent disciplines that transform lives. If you adopt them, if you make them your own, you will find yourself changing in ways you could not have imagined. Your thoughts will sharpen, your willpower will strengthen, your results will multiply, and you will discover that success is not a mystery, not an accident, but the inevitable result of deliberate choices made daily. In our next part, we will explore how to master fear and doubt, those twin enemies of progress that sabotage even the best-laid plans. But for today, choose one habit to begin. Commit to it, nourish it daily. For as you sow, so shall you reap. Fear and doubt are the silent assassins of ambition, creeping quietly into the minds of even the most gifted, the most determined, the most prepared. They whisper insidious questions. What if you fail? Who are you to want more? What will others think? These doubts seem so reasonable, so cautious, but in truth they are thieves that steal your destiny. The winner's mindset recognizes fear for what it is, a signal, not a command. It is a primitive reaction designed to keep you safe, but in the modern world, it too often keeps you small. If you wish to rise, you must learn not to obey fear, but to master it. You must treat doubt as a challenge to clarify your purpose and strengthen your resolve. Most people think courage is the absence of fear. Nothing could be further from the truth. Courage is action in spite of fear. It is choosing to move forward when every instinct begs you to retreat. The greatest achievements in history were not accomplished by those who felt no fear, but by those who refused to let fear dictate their choices. Every invention, every business, every work of art, every act of leadership was born in uncertainty. The winner's mindset accepts fear as part of the journey. It does not waste energy denying it or resenting it. Instead, it acknowledges the fear, examines it, and then acts deliberately anyway. This is true freedom. Not the absence of fear, but mastery over it. Consider how doubt functions in the average mind. It presents itself as caution, as realism, as mature skepticism. It says, be careful. Don't get your hopes up. Don't make a fool of yourself. And so people shrink their dreams to match their doubts. They choose goals so small they cannot fail, but also cannot inspire. They play it safe and call it wisdom, never realizing that they are burying their talent in the ground. The winner's mindset does not deny risk. It studies it, prepares for it, but refuses to be ruled by it. It says, yes, I may fail, but the greater failure is to never try. It understands that regret is far more painful than disappointment. Regret is permanent. Failure is temporary. How do you master fear and doubt? You begin by naming them. What exactly are you afraid of? Write it down. Examine it in the light of day. Most fears, when articulated, shrink in size. They thrive in the shadows of vague worry, but wither when exposed to reason. Next, challenge them. Ask, is this fear rational? Is it based on fact or imagination? Even if it could happen, is it fatal? Can I recover? Most of the time you will see that even the worst-case scenario is survivable. And then decide deliberately, what would I do if I were not afraid? This question is powerful. It reveals the path your heart wants to take. Comment this declaration if you're ready to claim it. I act in spite of fear. I choose courage daily. Another tool is preparation. Much fear comes from ignorance. We fear what we don't understand. When you prepare, when you study, when you train, you reduce uncertainty. A salesperson who knows his product, his customer, his market, fears rejection less. A speaker who knows his material and rehearses fears embarrassment less. Preparation is an antidote to fear. It does not eliminate it entirely, but it gives you the confidence to act anyway. The winner's mindset embraces preparation not as drudgery, but as empowerment. It knows that competence builds confidence, and confidence drives action. So whatever your goal, commit to knowing it deeply. Master your craft. Learn everything you can. In doing so, you will make fear your servant, not your master. Action itself is another remedy. Fear feeds on inaction. The longer you wait, the stronger it grows. But the moment you act, even in a small way, fear loses its grip. Action creates momentum. It shifts your focus from what might go wrong to what you can do right now. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Don't wait to feel ready. You never will. The winner's mindset knows that readiness is the result of action, not its prerequisite. Take the first step, however small. Make the call, write the page, have the conversation, launch the project. Once you are in motion, fear fades into the background. You realize it was mostly smoke without fire. Let us also speak of faith, not necessarily religious faith, but a deep belief in the possibility of a better future. Faith is the counterweight to fear. It is the conviction that if you commit fully, act consistently, and persist relentlessly, good things will follow. It is the trust that the universe rewards effort, that doors will open where none seem to exist, that you are capable of rising to challenges you cannot yet foresee. Faith is not blind optimism. It is disciplined hope. It is the decision to believe in your own potential, even when evidence is not yet visible. Cultivate it daily. Feed it with affirmations, with inspiring stories, with the company of those who believe in you. Comment now if you choose faith over fear. I believe in myself. I have faith in my future. Finally, surround yourself with courage. The people you spend time with will shape your mindset more than you realize. Seek out those who take risks, who think big, who encourage you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. Avoid those who ridicule ambition, who see danger in every opportunity, who delight in cutting others down to size. Not because they are evil, but because they are afraid, and fear is contagious. So is courage. When you see others act boldly, it inspires you to do the same. When you share your fears with someone who believes in you, they lose their hold. Build a circle of courage and you will find your own grows stronger. These are the principles of mastering fear and doubt. Name them, challenge them, prepare relentlessly, act decisively, cultivate faith, surround yourself with courage. These are not one-time choices but daily practices. They are the disciplines that turn fear from a prison into a teacher, from an obstacle into a stepping stone. Embrace them and you will discover that fear no longer rules you. You rule it. In our next part, we will discuss the art of setting clear, compelling goals and the strategies for making them real. But for now, commit to acting in spite of fear. For as you sow, so shall you reap. Most people go through life hoping that things will simply work out. They drift from day to day, reacting to whatever demands their attention without any clear direction or purpose. They confuse movement with progress, busyness with effectiveness. And when, after years of this drifting, they find themselves somewhere they never wanted to be, they blame circumstances, bad luck, or other people. The winner's mindset knows better. It understands that life does not give you what you want, simply because you want it. Life gives you what you demand of it through focused intention, intelligent planning, and relentless action. You cannot harvest without planting, and you cannot plant without deciding what you want to grow. This is the law of deliberate creation. You see, the act of choosing a clear, definite purpose is one of the rarest disciplines in the world. Most people refuse to choose because choice carries responsibility. If you pick one thing, you must let go of others. You must focus. You must commit. And commitment is frightening to the unfocused mind. It feels like loss, but in truth, it is gain of the highest order. It is the key to mastery. The person who commits to a single purpose channels their energy like a laser. They become powerful, effective, unstoppable. The mind loves clarity. It thrives on focus. It needs a target. Without it, your thoughts scatter, your actions dilute, your will weakens. But with it, you are a force of nature. I want you to consider the greatest achievers in history. Think of inventors, artists, leaders, entrepreneurs, anyone who has left a mark on the world. They were not people of scattered interests, flitting from one idea to another. Without dedication, they chose, they committed, they planned, they persisted. They understood that success is not a matter of chance, but of choice. They gave their minds a single aim to fix upon, and their entire being organized itself around that aim. They paid the price. They endured setbacks. They faced ridicule. But they refused to surrender their vision. And in the end, they changed the world, or at least their corner of it. Let's bring this home to you. If you want to master the winner's mindset, you must do the hard but necessary work of deciding what you want. Not vaguely, but with precision. Not someday, but today. Take out a card and write it down. Describe it in detail. Make it real in your mind. This act alone will separate you from the crowd. Most will never do it. They will talk about dreams but never define them. They will complain about their situation but never commit to changing it. Don't be like them. Be among the few who choose their future deliberately. Because when you write down your goal, you give your mind a clear instruction. You turn wishful thinking into actionable intention. Now, planning is the next essential step. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Once you know what you want, break it into steps. What can you do this year? This month? This week? Today? Planning forces you to be honest about your commitment. It reveals gaps in your knowledge, resources you need, skills you must acquire. It is not meant to discourage you, but to prepare you. Winners don't fear this clarity. They welcome it, because it lets them see what needs to be done. It gives them power over their destiny. It transforms the overwhelming into the manageable. It takes dreams from the clouds and brings them down to the ground where they can be built. But even the best plan is worthless without action. This is the third discipline of the winner's mindset. Acting daily, acting deliberately, acting even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is what turns small efforts into massive results. The average person acts when it's convenient, when motivation strikes. The winner acts regardless of mood, knowing that habits shape destiny. Action is how you prove to yourself that you are serious. It is how you build confidence, one step at a time. Every small win strengthens your belief. Every bit of progress reinforces your purpose. And over time, these actions compound into success that seems miraculous to those who never saw the work behind it. Finally, I want to talk to you about the spirit in which you pursue your goals. The winner's mindset is not frantic or desperate. It is calm, focused, and assured. It knows that true success is not just about getting, but about becoming. It is about developing the character, discipline, and wisdom to handle what you achieve. It is about growth. When you pursue your goals in this spirit, you don't just enrich yourself, you enrich everyone around you. Your family benefits, your community benefits, the world benefits, because you become an example of what is possible when a person lives deliberately, thinks clearly, and acts with purpose. So today, make this your declaration. Write it in the comments as a public vow of commitment. I decide, I plan, I act, I succeed. Let it be the standard you hold yourself to, because in the end, you are the architect of your future. You alone can choose what you will build. Don't leave it to chance. Don't drift with the crowd. Stand up, choose your purpose, make your plan, take action, and become the person you were meant to be. This is the winner's mindset. It is yours for the taking, if you will only claim it. There is another principle that every person who masters the winner's mindset must understand: the law of compensation. This law states simply and unchangeably that you will be compensated in direct proportion to the value of your service to others. It is one of those natural laws you cannot cheat, negotiate, or avoid. Just as you cannot plant thorns and expect roses, you cannot give little and expect much. Your rewards, financial, professional, even personal, will always match the quantity and quality of your contribution. This is not a punishment. It is not unfair. It is in fact the very foundation of justice in human affairs. And it is what makes lasting success predictable to anyone willing to pay the price in service. Let me make this perfectly clear. Money is not evil, nor is the pursuit of it shameful. Money is simply a measure of service rendered. It is a certificate of value delivered to others. If you want more money, you must render more service. If you want greater security, you must make yourself more valuable. If you want promotion, you must prove you can solve bigger problems. The market does not care about your intentions. It cares about your results. It does not ask how hard you tried, only what you delivered. And the beauty of this system is that anyone can improve their rewards by improving their service. No one is stuck unless they choose to stop growing. The crowd will tell you otherwise. They will blame the economy, their boss, their upbringing, or bad luck. They will complain that life is unfair. But complaining changes nothing. Only action does. Only service does. Look around you. Every product you use, every building you enter, every meal you eat exists because someone served. They solved a problem, met a need, delivered a benefit, and they were rewarded for it. Some serve millions and become wealthy. Others serve poorly or reluctantly and wonder why rewards elude them. The difference is not in luck but in mindset. The winner's mindset embraces this law of compensation and asks daily, how can I serve more? How can I serve better? If you are in business, your income depends on the value you provide your customers. If you are employed, your wages reflect the value you bring to your employer. If you are an artist, your recognition and income reflect the impact of your work on others. There is no escaping this law, but there is also no limit to how much you can grow within it. You can learn more. You can practice more. You can study your customers, your craft, your market. You can become a master of your field. And in doing so, you make yourself indispensable. The world is always searching for people who can solve its problems. Decide to be one of those people. Now let's talk about the quality of service. It is not enough to do what is required. Anyone can do that. The winners are those who do more than is asked, who deliver excellence consistently, who show up fully even when no one is watching. They treat every task, big or small, as an opportunity to prove their commitment to quality. This attitude builds reputation. It builds trust. It creates a demand for their skills and their leadership. The world will always make room for the person who is determined to be the best at what they do. It does not matter where you start. What matters is your decision to raise your standard and keep raising it. Ask yourself honestly, do you give more than you take? Do you over-deliver or do you do just enough to get by? Do you see your work as a burden or as your opportunity to shine? The winner's mindset answers, I will give more than is expected. I will surprise people with the quality of my service. I will make myself so valuable that the world cannot ignore me. Comment this as your promise today. I serve with excellence. I earn my rewards. I am committed to giving more. Say it aloud. Write it down. Make it a part of who you are. I want you to realize that this law of compensation is liberating. It means your future is not determined by luck or privilege alone. It means you are not at the mercy of circumstances. You can increase your value through study, practice, service, and discipline. You can choose to be better today than you were yesterday, and tomorrow, better still. This is the path of mastery. It is the path of security, because when you make yourself truly valuable, you become irreplaceable. No recession, no competition, no disruption can destroy the person who is dedicated to serving at the highest level. This is why I say success is not something you pursue, it is something you attract by the person you become. Become the kind of person who is always learning, always growing, always seeking ways to serve more deeply. Make this your daily habit. Make it your code. But when you do, you will not have to chase opportunities. They will chase you. You will not have to plead for recognition. It will find you. You will not have to worry about security. It will be built within you, where no one can take it away. So remember this today and every day. Your rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to your service. Accept this law, Embrace it, live it, and watch as it transforms your life from one of limitation to one of limitless possibility. This is the winner's mindset. It is not easy, but it is simple, and it is yours to claim if you will only dare to serve. There is something you must understand if you are to fully master the winner's mindset. You cannot become exceptional by thinking like everyone else. You cannot rise above the crowd while living by the crowd's rules. The truth is that most people are guided not by their own clear vision, but by the opinions, habits, and expectations of those around them. They do what others do, want what others want, fear what others fear. This is the tragedy of conformity. It is the quiet surrender of your birthright to choose, to dream, to act boldly. The winner's mindset rejects conformity absolutely. It insists on individuality, originality, and personal responsibility. It knows that to become truly successful, you must think for yourself, even when it is uncomfortable or unpopular. Let me tell you something you may have never heard so clearly. You are responsible for your life. No one else is. Not your parents, not your employer, not the government, not society at large. You. This is not to deny that circumstances matter or that unfairness exists. But even so, the ultimate power to choose your response, to direct your focus, to decide your purpose, rests with you. Winners accept this responsibility without complaint. They do not wait for permission to improve themselves. They do not blame others when they fail. They do not make excuses for their results. They own them completely, because only in that ownership lies the power to change. You see, there is a price for greatness, and that price is nonconformity. It means being willing to stand alone when necessary. It means saying no to distractions, no to trivial pleasures that consume your time and energy without building your future. It means enduring criticism from those who do not understand your vision. The crowd will try to pull you back to its level. It will call you arrogant, unrealistic, obsessive, but you must remember that the crowd does not get to live your life. They will not stand in your shoes when you look back with either pride or regret. That responsibility is yours alone, and so is the choice. The greatest achievements in human history were made by those who refused to conform. The inventors who persisted despite mockery. The entrepreneurs who saw opportunity where others saw risk. The artists who created new forms of beauty when others clung to the old. The leaders who spoke truth when it was dangerous to do so. These people were not different in their basic humanity. They were different in their mindset. They chose to think for themselves. They dared to dream a bigger dream, and they were willing to pay the price to make it real. That is the essence of the winner's mindset. If you want this mindset, you must cultivate the habit of independent thought. Question assumptions. Challenge inherited beliefs. Ask yourself, is this idea true? Is this action serving my purpose? Is this habit building the life I want? Most people never ask these questions. They drift in mental laziness. But you must not. You must be vigilant. Because every day the world will try to program you with its fears, its limits, its small ambitions, advertising, gossip, negativity, cynicism. It is everywhere. And if you are not careful, it will shape you into someone you never intended to be. But you can resist. You can choose. You can build the inner strength to think clearly and act boldly. Now let's make this practical. I want you to write down your own personal code. What do you stand for? What do you refuse to compromise on? What are the values that guide your decisions? Clarity here is power, because when you know what you believe, you cannot be easily swayed. You become rooted, grounded, unshakable. Winners are not people without challenges. They are people with convictions that carry them through challenges. Your code is your compass. It keeps you on course when storms come. It gives you the courage to say no when others say yes, and yes when others say no. It is the foundation of true freedom. So today, make this your vow. Declare it publicly if you want to hold yourself accountable. Comment below. I think for myself. I live by my own code. I am responsible for my future. Let it be more than words. Let it be your guiding principle from this day forward. Because this is the mindset that transforms lives. It is the mindset that builds leaders, innovators, and creators. It is the mindset that refuses to settle for the life handed to you and instead insists on building the life you choose. Understand this, nonconformity is not rebellion for its own sake. It is not contrarianism without purpose. It is the quiet, determined commitment to live by your own values and vision. It is the willingness to listen to your own conscience above the noise of the crowd. It is the courage to pursue your own definition of success, no matter how humble or grand. This is the winner's mindset, and it is available to anyone who will claim it, live it, and guard it fiercely. We have come now to the most important truth I can share with you about mastering the winner's mindset. Your destiny is determined by the daily choices you make, not by what you say you want, not by the dreams you keep hidden in your heart, but by what you choose to do each day when no one is watching. This is where most people fail, and it is why most people live lives of quiet desperation, never realizing the potential that lies dormant within them. They wait for the right time, the right mood, the right opportunity. But the winner's mindset knows there is no perfect moment. It knows that success is built in the present through deliberate, disciplined action, repeated day after day until results are inevitable. Consider this carefully. Every day you are writing the story of your life. Every habit you reinforce, every decision you make, every thought you allow to dominate your mind is another line in that story. The question is not whether you are writing a story. You cannot avoid it. The question is whether you are writing it consciously, intentionally, with purpose and design, or whether you are letting others write it for you through their expectations, their judgments, their priorities. The winner's mindset refuses to be a character in someone else's script. It demands authorship. It demands agency. It says, "This is my life and I will choose what it means." But let us be honest, choice is not easy. It requires sacrifice. It requires saying no to many things so you can say yes to one thing. It requires giving up comfort in the moment for the promise of growth in the future. Most people will not pay this price. They want the rewards without the work, the applause without the effort, the security without the risk. But life does not work that way. The law of cause and effect cannot be bribed or fooled. You will reap what you sow. If you sow discipline, focus, learning, and service, you will reap success, fulfillment, abundance. If you sow distraction, laziness, excuses, and blame, you will reap mediocrity, frustration, regret. It is that simple and that unchanging. So I ask you today, what seeds are you planting? What story are you writing? What future are you creating by the choices you make this very hour? Because you cannot escape this responsibility. Even refusing to choose is itself a choice to drift, to be at the mercy of chance and circumstance. The winner's mindset rejects this passivity completely. It understands that freedom is not the absence of responsibility, but its full acceptance. It is the power to choose your thoughts, your actions, your responses. It is the power to create the life you want, not simply endure the one you are given. Now here is the great promise of this truth. Change is always possible. No matter where you are starting from, no matter what mistakes you have made, no matter how long you have lived without direction, you can begin today to build a new future. The past is prologue, but it is not prison. Your mind remains your most powerful tool. Your ability to choose remains intact. And with that choice comes hope, potential, possibility. You can decide now to change your thoughts. You can decide now to change your habits. You can decide now to define your goals clearly and pursue them relentlessly. That power is yours, and no one can take it from you. But you must use it. Knowing is not enough. Hoping is not enough. Wanting is not enough. You must act. You must do the work. You must persist when it is hard, when you are tired, when you are afraid. This is the ultimate test of the winner's mindset. It is not about grand gestures or occasional bursts of motivation. It is about consistency. It is about showing up every day with intention and purpose. It is about refusing to be beaten by setbacks, refusing to be distracted by trivialities, refusing to be controlled by fear. It is the quiet courage to keep going when the world offers you every reason to stop. And so as we conclude this journey together, I want you to make one final commitment. A commitment not to me, but to yourself. Declare it publicly if you wish, to inspire others and hold yourself accountable. Comment below these words as your vow. I choose my future. I act daily. I master my mindset. Let this be the standard you hold yourself to from this moment forward. Because if you will live by this standard, there is no limit to what you can achieve. You will become the architect of your destiny, the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. If you found value in these words, if you believe they can help you live with greater purpose and power, I invite you now to share this message, to like and subscribe so you don't miss future insights and guidance. But most importantly, take what you have heard and put it into practice. Because ideas alone do not change lives. Action does. Discipline does. Commitment does. This is the winner's mindset. It is yours to claim. It is yours to live. It is yours to pass on to those you care about most. Start today. Because you have nothing to lose but your limitations and everything to gain. A life of meaning, impact, and true success.